Welcome to This Week in West Hempstead, sponsored by Spiegel Law PC, 516-873-1683, Tiffany Dry Cleaners, I&D Glot Market, and Riester's Bakery. Here are your hosts, David and Norm. Take it away, gentlemen.
All right, thank you, Dan. And Norm's out this week, and we look forward to his return hopefully next week. And his seat is, we miss him. So, Dan, we got this red flag condition throughout the Northeast, and it seems to be screwing things up. There are brush fires popping up all around the city. Amtrak had a huge outage. I don't know. What do you think's going on?
I mean, look, we had that little dribble of rain the other day, but we've basically had nothing for 6 weeks. That Amtrak situation, apparently there's a serious fire in Inwood Park up in the very north tip of Manhattan. Fires out in Suffolk, although I will note there was a story that a volunteer firefighter actually deliberately set one out there in Medford, which is not a good sign. But
no.
we got red flags all over the place, which I'm used to hearing about in California and stuff. It's very unusual here.
Yeah, things are, bone dry, and when you look at the extended forecast, there's no rain in sight, at least through the weekend. So this is not going to be getting any better anytime soon.
No, for sure. I don't know, though. Maybe should I start gassing up my snowblower yet, or should I not anticipate that just yet?
Yeah, I think you're fine. And this was a crazy story right before we went on the air. Really about a cop allegedly gone bad. So in Rockville Center, which is just a little bit south of here, a Long Island detective is facing charges for allegedly harassing a phone worker who was working out of his car. He was a subcontractor for AT&T. And this, I think he's a detective for the Rockville Center Police Department, John Murphy, 40 years old. He approached the guy. He didn't ask him for ID, and he had some racial slurs. He kicked the guy's car, causing damage. And guess what? John Murphy has now been arrested. Go figure.
So, I mean, was he on duty? Was he off duty? We have no idea.
No, not exactly. I'm sure the details are going to come out, but it just sounds like, either the guy snapped or he's just been acting like this all along, and he just messed with the wrong guy. And,
I guess so. I mean, look, we've got cops behaving badly all over the place. The situation with the state trooper is still ongoing. I mean, he's been suspended, and who knows what's going to be happening down there. Look, we want to support the police, and they've got a very difficult and hard job to do, but you behave like this, and it makes it much harder on everybody.
Yeah, but just to be fair, we're talking about the few examples of the cops gone bad, and the vast majority of cops are just doing an unbelievable job. So we'll just have to see where this one ends up. Yeah. So other news: there was the Nassau County Homicide Squad was reporting an accident in Lakeview, and a motorcyclist was hit by a driver. It took place on Glen Road, which is actually parallel to Woodfield, and the driver remained on the scene. This happened a couple of days ago. And, the one thing that I could say, and I was looking at the time, at least the police report of 4:46, a half hour before that, you get incredible sun glare. And I'm not saying at all that this has any contributing factors to all this stuff, but sometimes, especially when the clock changes and you're driving, you get the sun hitting you really bad. But this accident is terrible. Yeah,
I mean, look, if you've ever driven westbound on like the LIE or any of the parkways late in the afternoon, it can be very difficult to see. I mean, look, we don't know any of the facts here. Sometimes I've seen motorcycle guys drive very badly, go on the southern state, and people are really misbehaving. We have no idea. I mean, the guy stayed on scene, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
And, so here's a story that you'll only hear on Echo and probably nowhere else. I got this message late Friday afternoon that there was an explosion right by the library. And apparently there was a huge boom. There was some reports of maybe a couple of windows that were shattered, and it was caused by a pressure valve in their water system. I guess outside of the library they have that fountain, which I've never seen on forever. So I'm not. I assume this is what they were, clearing out for the winter time, and it like blew a filter, clear across the parking lot. Thank God no one was injured, but it did shake up some people. They thought a bomb went off.
And we got that picture of it sitting right up on the screen there. I mean, I don't know if they were shutting down the sprinklers for the winter or just the fountain itself. Some of the people who got in touch with us said it really sounded like a bomb went off, but had a very clear indication of what went wrong here, and hopefully they've sorted out whatever the problem was.
Yeah, it sounds like they've returned to normal. And, while we're on the library, a couple of really amazing things that are going on there. So they have the Cuban music. They had a Cuban music concert on Sunday. They posted some pictures up on Facebook. It looked like everyone had a tremendous great time. And the library also has a special Thanksgiving book section for kids. And if you're looking for a bunch of books to take out for your kids about Thanksgiving, go to the library. Yeah,
the children's room is really great about this. They're very good about being aware of whatever holidays may be going on or other cultural reasons. And so it's a great opportunity if you want to help your kids find some books about Thanksgiving.
I got another beef with the library. As usual, I like to complain. In the old days when you used to go to the library, you used to go to make photocopies and other usage of machines, if you will, because you didn't have home copiers and stuff like that, right?
Well, of course. Oh,
I don't know if you remember that. So 3D printers. Everyone talks about them. Not a lot of people have them because there's a high cost of using it. Why doesn't the library have 3D printers to rent out, like other libraries, like the Merrick Library System has?
It's an interesting question. I mean, I've never used one. I've always sort of been interested in figuring out how to use one. But I do know that the material that they use to produce these things is not cheap. And the other thing about it is I think any one of these like individual prints can take a long time to put down depending on how complex. But it's a great question. So we should ask the library, like, why don't we have one here? Yeah, and again, Merrick Library has 2 printers. I'm not exactly sure how they do the costing, and I think that is a really great point. But if they were charging, for usage, and I wanted to figure out how to play around with the printer, I think I'd go there and check it out. Yeah, absolutely. Well, something to raise with the library next time we talk to them. All right. Well, you know what? Now's a good time for us to take a quick commercial break.
Tiffany Dry Cleaner is ready to handle all your cleaning, laundering, and dry cleaning needs. We offer free pickup and delivery Sunday to Friday in all communities. Give us a shot.
So Dan, I was walking by Hempstead Avenue by the new Hank construction, and wow, I mean, they're really going quickly. I mean, for the longest time, it looked like just a big hole in the ground, and all of a sudden, there's buildings coming up right by the old building. Yeah, so I mean, I'm because the service that I go to is in the existing early childhood center. I talked to the leadership over there occasionally. They're planning on being in September. The thing that I thought was great, because we've been sort of parking wherever we can find spots for Friday night, Saturday. They've opened the parking lot back up over at the ECC, which is nice, and they're cranking along. I will tell you that there's windows in the space where we had the service, and it's now completely blocked up. They built the walls up entirely, covering up the windows on the other side, but they are absolutely motoring through over there. Well, it's really great to hear about the parking spots, because I remember at the last meeting with the Civic Association, one gentleman was complaining, fairly vigorously that the municipal lot that sort of by ECC, probably I'm guessing by Wing Wong, was being used by Hank faculty. I don't know if that's true or not true, but the fact that they've been able to open up their existing parking lot would certainly relieve and take some of that pressure out.
Yeah, and I'm sorry for whoever it is that's unhappy about it, but honestly, it's a public lot. Most of the time, the only people I know who park in there are the employees of the post office, and it's a public lot. They're allowed to park there, and so listen, it's temporary. Now they've got the other lot back open, you're not going to have to worry about it anymore.
Yep. And in the school district, they just put out a flyer about the universal pre-K, and there's a lottery with the drawing to be held on January 10th. And there's a survey there, and you have to indicate your interest for classes starting September 2025. But according to this, it just lists the Chestnut Street school that's going to be having the universal pre-K. But our understanding was that this was also going to be extended to the private schools as well.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I I suspect it's one of those things that when they put the form together, they just either reused an old form or didn't stop to think about it. So we certainly know that there are people in the town interested in the state of the school district.
Yeah.
So I imagine this would be something we should definitely follow up on and see if we can get an explanation as to how one would apply this if one is trying to get into the various private schools around.
Yeah, and that's a really great point, and we will continue to follow up so that by next week we'll have some answers as to what's happening with the private school sign up. And you would think also, in light of what I would call the controversy last year with the seats in the universal pre-K,
Yep.
that again, did or didn't go filled, I don't really know. If you recall as well, Aaron Zelig, who was a candidate for the school board, pretty much ran his campaign on this. So this is a very touchy subject, and I'm sure there are answers for all this stuff, but I certainly hope that all the seats, or certainly as many as possible, can be filled.
Yep. And look, again, we'll do some digging. We'll ask around, see if we can get an answer on that.
Yeah. And the secondary school is having a holiday fair that benefits the senior class of 2025. It's taking place December 4th from 5 to 9 p.m. at the secondary school, South Gymnasium. So that should be pretty cool.
Yep.
And in other news, at the school, the Rams, not doing so well. They lost last week 24-6 to Clark. And their record is now 4-5, so not so good.
Listen, what are you going to do? It's tough. Kids come in and out, and if seniors graduate and things, and listen, this is hard to do. Every team wants to win, and obviously Clark also did. And look, you got to go out and support them and give them a chance and see what they can do.
Yeah, I also thinking about their basketball team. I remember last year they had those superstars. And they did incredibly well. We should really take a peek in what's going on with the basketball and see what's the score.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, by Congregation Anshe Shalom, they had those trailers for forever across the street, and that was when they were doing the construction, and the construction just got completed. And they're now getting rid of the trailers, which is great.
Yep, and they are opening up eventually a parking lot there. Our good friend Norm has been deeply involved with that, and they're going to be taking the trailer. The trailers haven't actually gone yet, correct? I think they haven't physically.
I think they took a couple of them. They haven't taken them all, but they have taken some.
Right. So when they're all gone, they're going to do what they have to do for drainage and pave it and whatever else has to happen, and there'll be some parking over there. But again, if you happen to go to Anshe Shalom, please be careful crossing the street because it remains complicated to get across.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, it's really nuts. But again, progress is progress.
Exactly.
And finally, and this is a difficult story. We talk about our group, including Norm and including Adam. We also had a fifth Beatle. Our fifth Beatle was my dog Memphis, and Memphis could often be heard barking during our programs. back when he was able to run down my stairs in the middle of a show. The cameras would be knocked out, and he would always be a nuisance. But the truth is, he was a great dog. Memphis passed away earlier this week, and he'll be sorely missed.
Yep. He was a terrific dog. I'm not much of a dog person, but he was always excited to see me. And listen, you know what? He had, I hope, a good life, and we'll miss him. And thank you, Memphis, for everything.
Yeah, and it's so great to see so many real dedicated dog people in our community who love to walk their dogs, who take great care of the dogs and cats as well. I have neighbors that have cats in their house. And, it's kind of intensified, I think, post-COVID, where, there's so many more people that have pets. It's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And, unfortunately, you hear stories about people who I'm stuck in my house, I'll get a dog. And then they suddenly realize how much work it is. But Memphis was a real good dog.
He was a real good dog. And remember, if you're walking your dog, please, please, please take your poop bag and don't put it in someone else's garbage, because there's at least several people in our community, and we don't want to say who they are, who get extremely upset when they hear of poop going into in their garbage.
I'll admit it, it's me. I'm like, look, dude, you have the dog, take it home, throw it out in your own garbage.
So please hold your poop until you get home. Okay, so Dan, we've been spending an incredible amount of time at Riesterer's the last few weeks, and I got to tell you something. Honestly, I get blown away every time I go into the back and I see the chocolate making with Carl Sr., and you see the pie making with Carl Jr. You see the front, people who are working, and the customers are getting all ready for Thanksgiving. It's amazing.
Yep. And we're working on a nice piece that we're hopefully going to get ourselves together on pretty quickly about the Thanksgiving preparation. They are baking like mad. And, speaking of the dogs in the neighborhood, they've got holiday-shaped dog treats, which is great. And pies, anything you want, especially for those of us who keep kosher. They've got pies available for the holidays. So there's going to be some really good stuff going on.
And if you're looking for that great treat to bring to a friend or family, and they do have a dog, you get these Thanksgiving cookies. They're just like one of a kind. You're not going to be able to get them anywhere else. And they love them. My dog Memphis loved them. Go and get them.
Absolutely.
And finally, we have Creative Corner. If you're planning a birthday party for young or old, give them a call. 516-385-8782. I also hear that they're going to be doing some music things down in the basement at night. I'm not sure if they started it yet, but they're always doing creative stuff over at Creative Corner. What can I tell you?
Yep.
All right, so Dan, that's going to wrap it up for this week in West Hempstead. I want to thank you for hanging in there, and join us next week, and have a fantastic couple of days.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Please be sure to visit our sponsors, Spiegel Law PC, Tiffany Dry Cleaners, I&D Glot Market, and Riesterer Bakery. To find out more or to reach out to us, come visit us on social media at Facebook and Instagram, or visit our website at westhempsteadecho.com.
Welcome to I&D Glot. We love our customers. We have the freshest produce. We have all the groceries you need. We have the best cuts of beef, veal, lamb, chicken for the best price. And of course, a bakery department with all fresh cookies, cakes, and freshest bakery item. And of course, with a takeout department with delicious food. If you need to place an order, do it online. We'll deliver it to you, or come into the store and shop. We can't wait to see you.